Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, guys. Give a quick thumbs up if you're able to hear me and see me clearly. Give a quick thumbs up, guys. I can see a lot of participants here joining the session. Great, great. Awesome. All right, guys. So now we will begin our discussion. We are going to talk about very important topic today, that is storytelling. In data science, this is one of the core thing, one of the core skill which lot of people they miss out, and especially when you are starting it out, you are going to miss out on this because lot of times you will hear about coding, Python, SQL, all those things, but this is one of the topic where you are going to miss out, and today that is what we are going to cover. So thank you so much for joining and welcome to this exciting masterclass, whether you are joining from LinkedIn, YouTube, or any other platform. I'm thrilled to have you here. My name is Alok. I will be your host for today. I have 8+ years of experience in data science, working from the scratch, from as a fresher to a certain level where I have worked on machine learning engineering, AI engineering. And today we are going to talk about something which is very close to my heart because it's not about code or tools. It's about the superpower that separates a good analyst from a brilliant one, and you will understand when I will go through this whole journey in this particular session. You will understand that how it will differentiate you from just being an analyst or a good analyst. Even if you are good at coding, if you're good at tools, you will become a good analyst. But if you want to make your journey towards the brilliant one, there is something which is very, very important, and that topic is storytelling. So today we will deep dive into this. We will understand lots of things around it, and we will understand at the end you guys should be feeling confident about how do you structure your storytelling. And joining us today is Bhaskar, one of our amazing alumni, now a data scientist at Blenheim. His journey is something I personally want all of you to hear. Someday he started like this, joining master classes, joining classes, believing in himself, and with a lot of commitment for the field of data science, because you have to work, you have to polish yourself, then only you are going to be there in the field, and you can say that yes, I am now confident for the interview. And if you are confident for the interview, the first thing which you have to do is, when you join, are you someone who companies can believe in, that this person can take the data science as a project forward in the company. So lot of times, I'm sure if I tell you this, if you have not started, one thing which lot of analysts they talk about is, I have done the analysis but no one seems to notice it. Okay, this is one of the things which lot of people they talk about, that they have done the analysis but nobody is noticing it, right? Or I have written SQL, I have written Python, but I struggle to explain what it means, right? So these are the things which you will hear a lot of times and you yourself will face. Now, how do you break that out? How do you understand the nuances? This is where we are going to go forward. Okay. So before I move to any other topic, we will talk about what is going to be the agenda. We will talk about the importance. We will talk about different scenarios. Then role of Alma Better. We will again talk about the Bhaskar story, how he planned out his journey. And lastly, feel free to utilize this session for the questions which you have. Ensure that any questions, whatever you have in your mind, you get those questions answered, because this is where you have taken out of your time. Make the best out of it. Before I go any further, I want to invite our alumni on stage. We will talk to Bhaskar, see how he started his journey, what he is doing right now, and what is the importance of even data storytelling. He's currently working as data scientist at Blenheim. He will be the best person to give us an understanding that how and what is going to be, like, how important this particular topic is, and how do you kind of take this forward, make yourself comfortable. Hey Bhaskar, hello.
Hi, hi, hello.
Welcome to the session.
Thank you so much. Thank
Thank you so much.
you. Yeah,
All right. So, Bhaskar, here we have all the candidate students joining in the session, right? And here, the first thing which they want to understand is, like, what is so interesting about data science, right? And how did you start it, right? How did you kind of figured out that this is something which you want to take it forward? And also,
yeah.
one thing very important, the topic for today, storytelling, how important this is in your current professional journey which you're going through. So,
Right, right. Sure. So I was in second year of my college. I was doing BCom, of course. I come from an Andhra background. I was doing my Bachelor of Commerce from Darbhanga. It's a third tier city in Bihar. So when I was in second year of my college, I was not still very sure about what I have to do, but I was figuring out different opportunities which are out there after doing graduation and things like that. I was very much interested in economics. So statistics was someone I was already interested in. But then there is one of my brothers who is working as a what must I say platform specialist in Germany. He's one of the classmates of CBO of Alma Bitter, Ravi Gupta. So
mhm,
one day he called me and told, "Do you know what data science is?" I said, yeah, I know what it is, but I am not entirely sure whether it might be my career. And thereafter, he told me to go look for yourself. So I spent like a couple of months researching about what all things are there within the domain of data science and things like that. And thereafter, he told me that you should join Alma Bitter because their curriculum is really good. And thereafter, I did research myself and thereafter joined it. So yeah, that's basically how I got into it. It was really intriguing because back then I was making leisure seats in part of BCom curriculum. But when you start learning about Python and things like that, you kind of understand that these things can be automated. You don't need to kind of do everything on yourself. So that was basically the starting point. Talking about it was almost 1 year journey with Alma Bitter, rigorous classes because during graduation I didn't have much to study, but I used to study like 8 to 10 hours every day with all the curriculum. Most of the things within the curriculum was there. And uh, in my current role, when I joined Blenheim, like it has been 2.1 years now. So about uh, storytelling, to be precise, I think this is the only thing that makes the difference between what is stored in the backend, that is whatever the data that comes from different websites or panels to a data store and what you can show to the SMT, your senior management team within the business. They are not technical people. They don't understand what all technical things are being stored back in the databases and things like that. So it becomes your job as a data scientist, data analyst to make sure that you have a story to tell from that particular data which has been stored there. And you have to use your tools. Of course, you'll tell people about them. But yeah, that basically is the main role. And to be precise, again and again, the most common thing I hear my CEO say is the most important thing right now in the business is data. It matters how much you bring them and how well you bring them. So yeah, storytelling is like one of the most key pieces before you go ahead to build anything because businesses need their what must I say bottom line to be perfect and they need data for it.
correct,
Yeah.
correct. And very rightly mentioned here, Bhaskar, because stakeholders, they understand the importance of data, but
Right.
from there, how to make it actionable, that is what
Right.
the job of analyst and data scientist is.
Invest in data matters.
And this is what everybody should understand, that it's not just about the tools and the code. Of course, those things will help you out in reaching to the last piece, that is what all analysis you want to present. How do you want to tell that story? Correct. Thank you so much, Bhaskar. We will again come back.
Sure.
I'll take everyone now from the starting to the end, like how do you structure your thought process around storytelling. Thank you so
Sure.
much.
Thank
Great. So, guys, you have heard Bhaskar in terms of how he is right now, looking at the storytelling, how he is interacting with professionals, and how important this part is. Now, let's take you guys through this whole journey, and let me give you an understanding that you will also understand that how and why it is so important, right? The first thing which I want to double tap on is the importance of storytelling, right? So, why storytelling matters? There are a couple of pointers which you guys have to keep it in mind, and that is very, very important. The first thing which you have to understand is data does not drive action. It will never be like you have certain data stored in the backend or stored somewhere. Let's say this is stored in Excel sheet. It's not going to do anything until somebody like you as an analyst will come over there and you are going to bring out the story out of it. So data does not drive action. The stories do. And how, as an analyst, you bring out that story, that is super, super important. Next, we have this very important thing which all of us as data scientists, as data analysts, while working throughout our journey, we had to keep this in mind, that stakeholders, they don't speak data, right? They are not going to be like interested in your code, and this is very, very important thing to understand. You might have spent hours and hours to write code. You might have spent hours and hours to optimize your code, but at the end of it, you will be judged, or you will be called as brilliant analyst based on the analysis and the story which you tell. At the end of it, if somebody is listening to you, they understand your story. If they understand that, okay, from here, what should I do next? If they are able to figure it out, then only your whole, the mehnat or the effort which you have done, that will be considered. Okay. Now, you have heard about charts, you have heard about, you might have heard about dashboards, etc., etc. But those charts are there, but it needs a voice, right? Charts and all the dashboards, you might have seen a lot of charts. You see charts in your in cricket matches also, but somebody has to explain it. Do you see those? That is the job of commentators. They explain you those charts. They take out something out of it and then try to fit in the story with the current match and current scenario. That is what is very important. Not just showing you the chart, giving you the relevant information out of it, filtering out the right information from there, is something which is very important. And then lastly, influence lives in the framing. This part I want to highlight little bit more than everything else, right? Rest of all three you can understand, but this fourth point, understand this very clearly. Let me give you an example, right? Let's say somebody is saying, okay, this particular product is 99% sugar free, right? Versus there is another example that this product has 1% sugar. Okay. Which one is more compelling to you? And you will see the first one is something which gives you more assurance. You want to hear a story in terms of, if you want to take any action, it's very very important that how do you frame it, how do you talk about it. Then only somebody who is listening will give the attention, will understand the thing, and take action out of it, right? This is a very common and very famous example. How do you present your data is super super important, right? So storytelling, more than anything else, I am not going to refrain myself in saying that as a fresher, when you start it off, right, Python, SQL, all the coding tools, of course you should know. But this particular piece is something which is missing in a lot of people, and very few people talk about it. So that is what we are going to emphasize on today. And at the end of it, I want to see that everybody has got confidence, that they understand about storytelling, they understand how to frame it. Now, the next, what makes a good data story, right? What makes a good data story? If you look at it, there are a couple of things which we do in analysis. I'm not going into machine learning engineering or ML models. Those things are something which will come, right? Which is happening in the world. But the core job of data scientist or analyst is to derive the actionables from the data, right? So what do? We do exploratory analysis. We use Python, we use SQL to get the data. We try to analyze the data. We try to understand that where are the issues, what is the problem statement, etc., etc. More technical, we use pandas, Python, etc. We create charts and visualization out of it. Third, we create dashboards out of it. And lastly, when we have all three, we deliver this to someone. You are going to be part of a meeting. You are going to present something, and there you will deliver and communicate to some stakeholder, right? Nobody is going to get your code and run it by themselves and try to understand. There will be a meeting which will be scheduled, and in that meeting you are going to explain what you have done. If you are not able to do it, you will not be, big. It will take some time, but initially you will not be heard. Your effort and your analysis will not be given much importance. So we are going to focus on this part today. How do you deliver and communicate your charts? How do you deliver and communicate your analysis? Like if I talk about your exploratory charts, etc., etc., how do we do it? This is something, let's say in Google Colab, I want to show you over here. Let's say these are the charts which are done like this. You create it, you uh, look at the observation, interpretation, all these things are here. But towards the end, how do you bring out the story out of it? That is something which we are going to talk about. This delivery and communication is something which is super, super important to understand. Okay. So now, Before I get into the theoretical side, understanding, breaking down of it, I want to hear from you guys that what do you feel in terms of different scenarios? What do you understand in terms of which one is a better story to tell? So all of you guys give a quick thumbs up if you are ready to participate in this session, because I want you guys to participate in further questions and the discussion that will happen. Things are going to be simple enough. I want you guys to be active. Please utilize the chat section. I'm going to ask you a question and put your thoughts in the chat section. Give a quick thumbs up, guys. Give a quick thumbs up. I want to see all of you guys who are active. Great, 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 great. I can see so many people here excited about the next part. So let's talk about the first scenario over here. The first scenario is ice cream sales by season. Simple enough to understand. Ice cream sales by season. In different season, you have certain sales of ice cream. This is very easy and interesting to understand that in summer your sales will be higher, whereas in winter sales will be lower. Correct? This is no brainer, easy to understand, easy to look at. Now let's say you are meeting this data, you have taken out that in each and every season how many units of ice cream you have sold. Let's say in winter 1000, in summer 3500. This is something which you have got. Now, answer me. You can see there is a, now what happens, you have created a chart. You are going to meet an inventory manager over here. Okay, you are meeting with inventory manager. Now there are two person here, person A, person B, and throughout our session we will see in terms of this there will be two person. We have to understand which one is better. So look at these two narratives. Person A is saying the chart shows that summer has the highest sales, followed by spring and autumn. Winter has the lowest sales overall. We can see over here. This tells us that sales vary depending upon the season, and people tend to buy more ice cream during warmer months. This is one way of saying. Now remember one thing, you are meeting with inventory manager. You are there, that person is sitting in front of you and you are explaining it. Now person A has explained like this. Now person B is explaining like, to plan next season's stock, we examined seasonal sales trend. The chart shows that summer sales are more than double of winter, with spring and autumn in between. So stocking up before summer can prevent shortages and capture peak seasonal demand. Now, out of these two, tell me guys in the chat, which one do you feel has a better storytelling? Person A or person B? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. I want to see everyone looking at it and answering it in the chat. Okay. Manoj, Venkatas, Omkar is saying A. Great. Okay. All of you guys, think about it, go through it. I'll give you some time so that you guys are responding it in the chat. Read it, understand it, and then say why. Then say that which person do you think has a better storytelling. Now, I can see one very clear thing that majority of the people they are saying B has a better storytelling. Okay, let's see what's the answer. So answer is actually B. Now, look at the difference over here. We will come to it, we will break it down, we will understand it further. But intuitively, why it came to you that person B is saying something which is better for me? As an inventory manager, just think about it, right? Just imagine yourself as an inventory manager. You yourself will immediately hook to person B because he has certain way of storytelling, he has certain way of presenting the data over here, number of words, the lines which are being told. Overall you will find person and person B both are saying same, both are using same number of words. It's not like person B is saying let's say 100 words and person A is saying just 20 words. It does not matter in number of words, number of words are mostly same, but how do you say it, it's very important. And I'm very glad to see that most of you are thinking about, okay, person B has a better storytelling. We will come to it why it came to you subconscious mind. Next, we will do one more scenario and let's see this time uh, are you able to answer it. Now this scenario is you are meeting with a product manager. Okay, and here what analysts they want to analyze is website traffic, conversion rate, consumer behavior, product availability, inventory levels, and marketing strategy. Now Hello, guys. Hello, hello, hello. There is some construction going on. That's why there was some internet issue. I hope you guys are able to hear me now. Please give a quick thumbs up if you're able to hear me and see me clearly. We will begin the session and we will again start with our discussion. Mostly, yes, Rishabh, it should be done. Nothing I can do if internet is not working for the whole area. But we will begin our discussion. Are you able to hear me now, Rishabh? Are you able to hear me? Put yes or no in the chat. And everybody, clear? Great. All right. So we discussed about our previous scenario where we talked about ice cream sales by season. And lot of you guys, you answered that person B has a better storytelling. Now, something which I want you guys to look at, what was the difference in person A and person B, and try to answer the next one. Okay. Here, what we are trying to do is we will analyze website load time versus bounce rate. Now, what do you mean by bounce rate? Let's say you go to any website, it takes lot of time to load. Okay, it is taking 3 4 seconds to load. It means whole website is visible to you in 3 to 4 seconds. Then lot of people, they have little patience, they will bounce off, right? They will come out of the website, they will click on cross and they will come out of it, right? So you are meeting with product manager, and this is what the analysis which you have done, that if there is a 1 second load time, 25% of the people they bounce off your website. If it is 2 second, 30% of people are bouncing off. Likewise, if it is 66 second, then 75% of people are bouncing off your website. Okay. Now this data you are going to discuss with product manager. There in the meeting, product managers are there. Now there are two person again, person A and person B. Look at the explanation, look at the story told by person A and person B, and put it in the chat. Which one do you feel is better? The first one is to enhance user experience. We analyzed how load time affects bounce rate. Person A is saying the chart shows bounce rate stays moderate until 3 seconds. So until 3 seconds, it is like 38% people are kind of 38% people are bouncing off, coming out of the website, but spikes after that. After 3, you see 4%, 55% of people are bouncing off. It means more than 50%, more than half of your users are coming out of your website. They are not sticking there because of the load time. Okay. So optimizing load time under 3 seconds could significantly improve user attention. Now, person B is saying as page load time increases, bounce rate also goes up. Bounce rate is around 25% for fast pages, but it reaches 75% when the load time hits 6 seconds. The chart shows the slower pages lead to higher drop off rates across users. Now think about it, person A or person B. Now don't go with the same logic that it will be person B all the time. Think from the core of the perspective. Let's say if you are a product manager, which person is giving you some direction in a better way to understand, right? Which person is giving you a direction to understand over here, that as a product manager, okay, where this particular whole analysis will affect, and second, what should I do over here in terms of action? Which person is telling it clearly? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat, guys. Put it in the chat. Whatever comes to your mind, put it in the chat. Person A or person B, who is telling the story in a right manner, which product manager can understand and take it up further. So I can see people have started putting up person A. Great. Person A. All right. All right. Everyone, please try to utilize this. Okay. Try to write your answer A or B in the chat. Okay. Person A, he starts with to enhance user experience. We analyzed how load time affects bounce rate. Person B starts with as page load time increases, bounce rate also goes up. Now again, same thing. Both the person, they have said almost the same number of words. They have used some numbers or the other. But how do you differentiate in terms of storytelling? Okay. So let's see the answer. Let's see the answer here, guys. Okay. Answer is person A. Answer is person A. Now, you might not know the framework of how storytelling is done, but you are, maximum of you are able to figure out which person is doing better in terms of storytelling. Now, there are some things in subconscious mind of ours which understand that previously it was person B, this time it is person A, and how you could figure it out, right? How you were able to figure it out. I have not given you any checklist or something to look at, but intuitively you are able to understand that person A is saying in a better terms, and in last case, person B was saying in a better way. Now, this is where we are going to deep dive. Let us understand the difference between person A and person B, and why you are saying in one case person B is doing better and another case person A is doing better. So, what is the catch? What are the components of storytelling? Now, it is very simple if you think from a simple framework point of view. So, whenever as an analyst, right, all analysts who have kind of gotten the experience, they follow the same framework while doing the storytelling. Always, always they will follow the same framework, and that framework is SIR framework. SIR, SIR. First, S stands for setup. Why does this matter? Okay, setup. Setup, hook. You might have heard about hook. That is what the setup is. I stands for investigate, right? What does the data show? And lastly, recommend. What should we do about it? This is what you have to follow always. If you follow this, you yourself will see that you are, and you have to do it subconsciously. You have to do it not subconsciously. In fact, you have to do it consciously until it will become a subconscious way of storytelling. You have to write it down. So, lot of times, initially, whenever we used to go and present beforehand, we used to have this story written for us, at how I'm going to start it, what's going to be the data which I'm going to talk about, what I'm going to recommend at the end. And it's always, always going to be in a way when I'm saying SIR format as a framework, right? Setup, investigate, recommend. Setup, investigate, and recommend. Why does this matter? What does the data show? And recommend, what should we do about it? Now, let's talk about let's talk about the first part. Let's talk about the first part, setup. How to think about setup? How do you think about the setup? Why was this analysis done? Very, very important. Let's go back and see. Person A mentioned to enhance user experience. He mentioned about something which product manager will relate to. User experience is something product manager they look at. And on top of it, it started with a setup where the utility and the reason of doing the analysis is presented. Here, as page load time increases, I'm not going to see the commentary over here just because I can see all those things in terms of X and Y and etc. etc. I can see that. It's just a commentary. But here, it started with why analysis was done. That is what your setup is. How do you think about it? What decision needs to be made? So enhance the user experience. You are looking at user experience to enhance the user experience. And what pain point does this relate with audience? That's why I'm saying always meeting with product manager. You have to understand what all are his pain points. That's why this person started with user experience, because I know that when I'm going to mention about user experience, product manager will relate to it. He is going to listen to me, and that will grab his attention. So how do you write it? The goal was to identify when users begin to drop off in their journey. To plan resource allocation for next quarter, we looked at platform users trends. This is what is called as setup. Why was this analysis done? What decision needs to be made? And what pain point does this relate with audience? Always. Why it is called as, whenever you want to present something, you should know the audience, because then only you will have a better setup with you. Everybody mentioned that you should know the audience, but how to use it in the storytelling, that part is missing a lot of places, right? This is where you have to connect. That setup is something where you understand the audience, you understand what that person will be interested in, and that is how you set up things so that you will grab his attention. And then next part, you go to investigate. I stands for investigation. So whatever investigation you have done, whatever analysis you have done, now that is what you are going to talk about. Now, how do you think about it? What are the pattern, trends, or outliers. If somebody is here already going through Alma Better's program, you might understand that a lot of time we mention pattern, trends, outliers. These are the technical terms. Now, pattern is nothing but we saw this like bounce rate is around 25%. This is exact here, here 25% shown over here. But when I'm going to talk about this, the chart shows bounce rate stays moderate until 3 seconds. It stays moderate until 3 seconds. After that, there is a spike. This is what is pattern or trend, you can see. Okay, this is what your pattern and trend which you are talking about. How to connect with the business setup, right? How do you connect with the business setup over here? That is what you are mentioning. The chart shows bounce rate stays moderate, so optimizing load time under 3 seconds, all those things are going to be coming over there in terms of connecting with business setup, right? You always, whenever you talk about any number, any pattern, what does this suggest? Important to talk about. Like referral sources convert at 32%, more than 4x the rate of paid ads. These are just sentences, just look at it. Referral sources, so you know that you can refer someone for any website. They are percent more than 4x the rate of any other thing. So I can easily mention this as some pattern which we have seen, and how do you want to present it to the person and quantify what you observe. We will go further and we will break it down. How do you make a best investigation in just some time? But first, understand the components of storytelling over here. Okay. So this is what your investigation is. So once you have set up, once you have done the setup, you have mentioned about your data, then lastly you have to recommend that what do you recommend, right? As an analyst, your job will not stop here. Okay, I have mentioned this is what I'm saying or seeing in my data. Now I don't care what you are going to do with that. No, we recommend what should we do about it. What's the most impactful or lowest change we can make? What is something that should be done now? Immediately how it should start, right? Like introduce load time optimization for mobile, optimize for 3 seconds. Optimization of any website, 1 second is again best case scenario, but at least optimize till 3 seconds, because here we see 38%, after that it goes to 55%, right? So this is something which you are recommending, that work on this and at least optimize for 3 seconds. So what's the most impactful or lowest effort change can we make? How does this solve the problem mentioned in the setup? So when we start this setup, we talk about certain problem statement, like here user experience. How do you solve that? Optimizing the load time under 3 seconds, right? So this is how you think about it. Now from now onwards till the end of the session, and of course after that also, think from this perspective that there will always be setup, investigate, and recommend, right? Setup, why does this matter? Somebody who is explaining it, are you getting that attention for for that person, or it is just a sentence which you will hear and not get too much interested? Second, investigate, are you able to get what does the data show, is it related with the setup? And lastly, recommend, what action that person is recommending, how achievable that is, how impactful that is. That is how you think about it. Clear? Let's go to the second one. Are you guys, give a quick thumbs up if you're able to understand. If you're able to understand sir setup, give a quick thumbs up. Yep, I hope you guys are able to understand. Simple enough, sir setup, nothing else you have to think here. Let's go to the next scenario and look at it little bit further advanced we are going. And in this case, tell me person A or person B. What you need to remember: setup, then investigate, and lastly recommend. These three things, sir, right? So person A or person B, who is doing better over here? Put it in the chat. I'll explain what this data is saying. Study hours distribution among students. So here, number of students and hours studied, right? So how many people are studying, let's say 5 hours? One student. How many people are studying, let's say 6+ hours on daily basis? Four students. And maximum of the people, they are studying 3 to 4 hours. That is where you can see the peak, right? So 18 students, 3 hours, 10 students, 4 hours, there is one person, or there is like four students who are studying 6+ hours, and like that you have 1 hour. This data you collected. Now person A and person B, they are meeting with teacher or principal. Now tell me, which person do you feel is doing better in terms of storytelling? Read it out. To detect early burnout risk, we studied how much time students spend preparing each day. Most students study about 3 hours, but a small group studies over 6 hours daily. Clear outliers. These students might be under pressure. We should check to ensure that they are not overburdened or burning out. Person B is saying, we looked at how many hours students study on average. Most students study about 3, but a small group studied over 6. Clear outliers. These students might be under pressure. So this is what you have to. Now here, understand that there is a catch. From here till here, you have the same thing mentioned, right? From investigation till recommendation, it is same. These lines are investigation and recommendation. Look at the setup. Here, you have to look at the setup. Look at the setup. Which person has a better setup, person A or person B? Answer me in the chat, because investigation and recommendation both are exactly same after here. Tell me which person is doing better in terms of setup. Put it in the chat. Feel free to answer. Don't worry if you are wrong, because I will give you the right answer. I'll give you the difference over here. But put your mind and tell me which person is doing better over here. Okay. I can see people are mentioning person A. Anybody else who thinks person B as well? Think about it. Put it in the chat. Okay. All right. Everybody put it in the chat. Who do you think is doing a better storytelling? Just look at the setup, the first line of it.